in a previous video, we looked at the upper cross syndrome, basically a reminder about that. This is what happens as people sit all day long. They start to do this type of thing. Your spine is at the back side of your body. All your weight is in front of your spine. So what tends to happen is people sit in chairs all day long and these muscles slowly start to decondition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple exercises to target some of these muscle groups. Watch my other video if you have a little reminder of what those guys need to be. And I'm going to help give you a little strength routine. So a couple of my favorite are going to be chin tuck exercise. And then there's an exercise called the modified Brugger. I use this guy here, reverse flies, and that's probably pretty good to get just a good overview there. There's a little bit that needs to be considered with what's called your scapula. If people have a winged scapula, that needs to sit flat against the body. There's exercises like the push-up plus that can be done there, but I want to keep this really simple and target a couple of the muscle groups that basically start to fall asleep to let your body roll forward here. All right, well, let's start. Probably one of my favorite exercises of all is a chin tuck. You can do this exercise off the side of the bed. If you have a staircase at the house with a higher level, you can use that. All you need is a little space for your neck to actually be able to drop down. And so what happens is, if you think about somebody's posture doing this type of thing, basically what happens is they'll start to want to do this, but they don't want to look at the ground, so people do this. And what we want to do is basically bring yourself out of that. And so if we can strengthen the midline muscle groups, well, think about, I always tell people, pretend there's a little string around your chest, lift your chest up, and then draw your head back. But we want to be able to strengthen these muscle groups. So what we're going to do is use your head as the weight and actually have to use the muscles in your neck to lift against gravity. So what it's going to look like is if I was down forward like this, I'm strengthening to bring my head back up. I'm going to use this bench here as my tool today, but hands down to the side. I'm going to let my head drop down towards the floor, almost as if I was going into a bad posture, and then simply lift my head up away. Down forward, and then lift my head up away. If I want to modify this a little more, I can actually roll my thumbs up towards the ceiling. Make sure you roll your thumbs this direction, not this direction, because you'd be almost rolling yourself into a bad posture there. But down forward, lift away, hold for a moment, and then even come up like so. That is one of my favorite overall exercises. Something I always talk about is you don't need to quit your job where you have a desk job and move out into the woods and start to use your body that way, but it's the fact that we actually make these lifestyle changes to sit in a classroom, sit at a desk job all day long. So what we need to do is actually mimic what our body needs in nature and help to make sure we strengthen those muscle groups. So that takes care of the midline paraspinal muscle groups from the base of the skull all the way to the top of the pelvis. Now let's work on a couple that tend to roll forward over time. So what I'm going to want to do here, take an elastic band. This is called the Brugger exercise. You're going to want to get into a good posture, which is roll the chest up, take the band here, and you simply rotate out, hold for a moment, and then control back in. Rotate out, control back in. It's like so. I like to do about 15 to 20 repetitions of these exercises. Once again, if this is a balance around the shoulder and these muscles start to shorten and these weaken, I'm using those muscles back there to actually rotate away and back and strengthen that way. Last exercise here that I'm going to get into is going to be what's called the reverse fly. And so I think of a plane of where I'm trying to hit. If I'm trying to bring my body up like this, I want to target these muscles down here. So I'm going to take my band, hold it up above, and I'm going to bring it down to my chest. As you can see from the back side, we're targeting those muscles down a little bit lower on the back side of the body, and the whole goal is to have more tone back there, which helps hold me upright. Obviously, you have to keep a proper posture throughout the day, so that's one of the things. You don't want to do these exercises and then go back into this. And that's gonna activate midline, what are called external rotators of the rotator cuff, a couple of other rear muscle groups. I won't get into naming everything right here. Last one I will actually throw in is a stretch, because I just showed you muscle strengthening strategies. The stretch we're going to want to do is the antagonist. It's going to be the chest or pec stretch. So simply get up against the wall, lean forward, and stretch and open this side up here. And yeah, I like to hold this for typically about anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes to really get a good stretch. Same thing done over here. We're just gonna get in and stretch these guys out, making sure we keep that balance. But if you throw this into your home routine, these are lifelongers, and I like to say just probably do this 3 days a week at least, 2 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions, and you're gonna do a whole lot to offset what gravity does to your frame. Watch the video, you'll see how this has an impact on your spine, your nerves, but hopefully this was helpful. Thanks, guys.